All right, guys. Are we live? Let's see. Yeah, we're live. Okay. So here's how this works. This is a beat the clock challenge. So I'm playing 4 different horror games today. And basically, you want to be the game I play the least. Because as soon as I'm actually scared, that's when I will quit the game. Each game. So we're going to start off with Until Dawn. Let's do this.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open to the people around you. Not cassettes. When I was like really little. I think I was like from like 1 to 3. I think my mom still has it.
Baby with cassettes?
Yeah, I have like the Curious George soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
You got the Teddy Ruxpin?
The James Bond cassette. Have that one soundtrack.
Oh, wow. I was kind of cassettes out of those compact disc players.
The skip protection, where you get into and 30 seconds for skip protection, and then the skip protection is a little bit better. As far as we need to do is we're going to be doing the defense thing. Yeah. Let's see. So getting myself together, but other than that, pretty good. Our snowfall in Toronto told us Sunday. I did the conversion from a snow to really more than 15 inches. Oh wow, jeez. Yeah, dude, it was fucking a little longer than yeah, and it was fun navigating. Thankfully, the sidewalks are like clear now. It's so funny. There's like parts of the sidewalk where the guys there. It's like, alright, walking the street, yeah, other than that, pretty good. The problem we ran into is the snow just not going to go away. It's not going to go yet next week. So, all next week, right? It's just nice. Monday and Tuesday are supposed to be 34. And that's the sunshine. The snow and the ice mountains. How's it going over there? How's GT is cold?
Jeez, Josh. Once again, brother, you outdone us all.
And like part of the problem is like the Saudi people didn't care about like 90% of the people. If you didn't have a song that they could sing along to, they care about you. And then after they sang your song, they didn't really care about you. So it was just like extremely quiet. It's like weird. Like, it's very unfortunate. It's, I mean, it's a big paycheck for him, I guess. Yeah, big paycheck. Yeah. So there you go.
God, I can't believe you actually did it.
Here's paycheck. Yeah.
I heard Randy Orton talking about it. They're like, hey, he's going to quit. He was like, hell no.
Celia, how's it going over there?
Pretty good. It was 80 degrees today. Thanks for asking.
You guys think this is a little bit cold? Come on, she deserves it.
It was really warm. We walked outside.
It's not her fault that she has a huge crush on him. Hannah's been making moves on him. I'm just looking out for my girl, Em.
Sunshine. Watched a lot of anime today. This whole weekend, catching up on stuff.
Just because he's class prez doesn't mean he belongs to everyone. Mike is my man.
I'm not anybody.
Whatever you say,
It's so
darling.
good. It's so good. So I enjoyed Night, and then I caught up on Hanakimi, which is a anime adaptation of this like really old manga that I read like when I was 11, and I didn't remember anything about it, and I'm watching it going, okay, I understand why I liked this when I was 11. So it's been a fun little blast from the past, but yeah, I've just been weaving out. I'm gonna play more Dispatch tonight, so I'm looking forward to that too.
On what?
Oh my god, I'm playing Nation. Yeah, we'll go into Dispatch soon.
Dispatch, yes. We'll talk about that one. What about Jay? Go over there, sir.
Yeah, it was nice. 60 degrees today, 68 with a little bit of sunshine. So it was nice. Yeah, that's neat. It was super nice today. So yeah, just chill in the backyard, getting that mixed up, got my room mixed up, and just hung out with my son, moving into the air. He ran around. He's fast, so it's playing good. And played more Trails in the Sky. So played more Trails in the Sky, trying to get through that game. The second chapter's coming out. And so yeah, it was a good day, man. Can't complain.
So, and then what about Evan? What's going over there, sir?
Tournament. Got a test game in today. Got a tournament next week. My buddy dropped off $3,000 worth of stuff I had to pay.
Hey, did you see that? Dad said it's just BS this weekend.
Where they don't paint any of their
Josh.
stuff.
Well, trader tournaments, yeah. But big tournaments, you lose points for it.
Oh, you lose points. I like it. Okay. Did somebody judge the quality of the painting?
Yes.
Oh, wow. They get it. They got the magnifying glass.
Well, no, you have to get it to a certain standard. And then you can get awards for having the best painted stuff.
I didn't see that guy.
Yeah, Evan was like that. If I was married with kids and all that, Evan was like that. I'd be doing that shit with Coke water, sat alone. That's how I was in college, so I mean, yeah.
Holy shit, OJ. You can't just say that to him.
I was sad alone in college, having occasional, whatever. But yeah, Saturday.
Look into detail.
Your wife watches.
Just airing out Evan right now, too.
Evan's the only one to come away for any of these conventions that we go to with a trophy, so.
That's true.
That's true.
Roddick, is that Little Big Planet?
Yep, that's my background for the pod, huge. Yeah. Gotta represent the GOAT.
Yeah, good call.
Good stuff. Alright, so tonight we have actually quite a bit of stuff. I was writing a bunch of different topics down, but I feel like because it already came up as we were just going through the intros, it's Dispatch, because this is a really weird thing that's happened where Dispatch is released on the Switch and Switch 2, and also on PlayStation 5 in Japan. And it seems like there is a version of the game now that the sensor can't be changed. So in the release on the PS5 that, for example, you're playing Celia, there's a toggle that you can turn the censored version on, you get black bars, and bleep swear words and all kinds of stuff. It's like a streamer-friendly thing, so that would be something if you're streaming on Twitch or YouTube that you can probably turn on anyway, just so you don't run into terms of service issues or something. And it was weird because no one could really figure out why this happened. So, of course, to start off, there was a lot of us assumed it was Nintendo.
I just planned my whole life out in a matter of seconds in my head.
And then we had
That's crazy, man. Life changes so fast. It's hard to do that.
It's almost what was happening with Nintendo because Nintendo responded that seems to put the blame back on ad hoc.
You have no idea what's going to happen in your life year to year or 5 years to 10 years.
Yesterday, I believe, and it sounds like that is the thing, but they didn't necessarily want to fully admit it. But this went crazy, and unfortunately, Dispatch is at the center of it, and it's a good game, and it's getting kind of beaten over the head now because of this.
If what happens, this is what I want.
That's a good attitude to have. You're gonna, you're pushing for a dream. You know.
I'm just speculating.
I work for that, so careful what you say. She works for Arby's.
Yeah, working for Arby's. Anyways. So like with that,
I want to be a pastor and a therapist.
so cool. But, you know, it is kind of...
I think you could do it.
So controversial, because Zero in general, which is like, Don said, it's the entertainment rating for Japan.
I don't want to go out.
Like strict laws in general with like obscene content and not depicting non-pixelated sexual materials of any kind. And if they do have like things like full frontal, it's grounds for a Zero Z rating, which is 18 plus, or it can just get rejected in general. So with Xbox, I know, right? Fancy. With that said,
Group therapist specifically.
you have to do if you want.
I like it, man. That's a good goal to have, honestly.
And to comply with the Zero rating, that game will be censored, and other versions of the game in other regions will not be censored, and that's how you get around that. But it just looks like Ad hoc didn't do that. Maybe they didn't have the time. Maybe they didn't have a release scheduled development team to do that. I don't know what their plan was, but that's just kind of why it happened. It looks like why it happened. It's just that they didn't do separate SKUs. Because I saw on Twitter people pointing to Cyberpunk and saying oh well, that released on Switch and that's not censored. And it's like, well, if you look at the Japanese release of the game, that is censored. So it's it's just a matter of separate SKUs if anything. So maybe later on.
I know we'll have to go back to college, but this time I won't give up.
Yeah, it'd be some kind of Bible college or, have to get your major in psychology or whatever, too.
Another wildly busy Wednesday. You need something fast and delicious and affordable. Your mom would say you're being too picky.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
What did our naive
It's the
sister
new
do to
taco
us?
spot.
What's up, Eli?
And
Can you hear me? You joined the party, didn't you? Oh. Well, I kind of passed out earlier a little bit, and then I woke up, and I figured let me start the Beat the Clock challenge and then go back to bed and then do more of the Beat the Clock challenges. Oh, well, that's fine. You could even, I was thinking, well, I mean, there is something you could do with it. You could you could do Bible talk on there. You could do your psychology talk on there. Float around your ideas. I mean, just as a hobby, I mean, you get busy with college, you get busy with all the other plans you got going on, then you could drop it or keep it in the background. So I mean that you could do that instead of doing game stuff.
Hey, Hannah.
I got your note.
Glad you make it.
That's good.
Maybe we should start with a little, making out.
Yeah, Arizona, they have that going on for sure. I know there's a few of them like that.
Oh my god, she's taking her shirt off.
Usually pastors have to.
Hannah, hey, don't. It's just a...
But the reason why I'm playing Until Dawn in the middle of the night, this is how I played it the first time back in the day. I beat the whole game. Every one of my characters died, though. And so I'm kind of recreating the magic.
You guys are jerks. You know that? Hannah!
Yeah, the PS5 is going to be cooking with some third-party titles mostly. There's not that many. There's Saros, Marathon, Wolverine. Oh yeah, Astrobot. Yeah, so the past exclusives also something to consider. Ghost of Yotei, Astrobot.
It's fine. She can't take a joke. It was just a prank, Han.
Stuff like that. Spider-Man. No, Spider-Man went to PC, I think. Yeah, and Astrobot's great. That's why I bought a PS5.
She wants to see you right now, Mike.
That and to stream.
Hannah!
So yeah, that'll cover everything you need. That's actually a better setup than me because you got the PC and I don't have the PC. Huh, that's quite a gift. Oh yeah, you got a deal. Well, I mean, they still are pretty slow about getting exclusives out. But if you haven't had a PS5 for a while, there are a lot of good games on there. Yeah, and with them talking about delaying the PS6, it could be a bit before the PS6, so there's no reason not to get
Hannah?
PS5. Are you gonna get a regular or a Pro? Ooh, hoo, hoo. That's it's pretty pricey, but hey, you squeeze all the graphics you can out of that. Yeah, PS6 isn't coming out before 2028, so unless you could be patient for almost 3 years, then yeah, you're gonna have to get a PS5. I hope it doesn't. I want us to get real bang for our buck this generation. We haven't got it quite yet. Yeah. Every company's doing that right now. You know what wouldn't surprise me? Now that I'm thinking about it, since you brought it up, there's going to be some church in the next couple years that's going to do AI Jesus that speaks to the congregation. Have you ever thought about that before? But you think you could see that happening, though, can't you? Yeah, like I could see a church literally like saying, all right, we don't need a pastor. We don't need to pay for a pastor and house them. We'll just put an AI Jesus on video there in the front to talk to the congregation.
Hannah. Hello?
No, I'm sure the devil's probably already thought about that.
Hannah.
But, I mean,
You must be freezing. Here, take my coat. I'm such an
yeah, but I mean, the AI stuff, I mean, imagine from their point of view, they're thinking, okay, we could pump in all the scripture into this AI, and this AI will regurgitate a lesson plan. You know what I mean? But the problem is, I think a pastor needs to be like, it's more than just somebody that speaks on Sunday. They do a lot of work between Monday and Saturday helping people. You know what I mean? They solve... Yeah, it's a hard, difficult road because I've known pastors before, and I've told you my story. I was on my way to becoming one as well. Well, like, you know, I mean, I know you won't like this, but obviously I'll tell you the truth. Because I brought it up before. Me studying and reading the Bible led to me not, or it led to me deconverting. And you'll hear that story too. Why?
Before we begin, there are a few things I need to make sure you understand. You see, no one can change what happened last year. The past is beyond our control. You have to accept this in order to move forward.
But I am going to warn you. If you are seeking to be a pastor, there are a ton of stories of people trying to become pastors who end up leaving the faith altogether. Now, you could attribute it to one of two things. You could say, like what you said, the devil led them astray on their journey because he doesn't want more pastors. Or, like I said, it could be the conclusion I came to, which is when you actually fully understand the Bible and read the Bible and kind of see how things are, you kind of go, I can't follow that. And that's how you'll feel if you don't have the strong faith. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so like I'll give you some of my hang-ups that caused me to lose the faith. One thing in the Old Testament, when he would command people being killed and women being slaughtered and R-worded and infants being slaughtered. So you know, I know it's Old Testament, but I don't really jive with that.
So, how did that picture make you feel? Remember, be honest.
Yeah, but see, I can't get on board with, it's one thing to be like, hey, it's one thing to be like, hey, you know, you're gonna fight other soldiers. but you're involving in anytime there was involving like infants being killed or innocent women being killed and stuff like that, and it literally is to be like being commanded by God. I couldn't get over that.
Well, I see. Let's see. The scarecrow.
No, see, Eli, this is what you're going to learn when you do your studies. When you get to the Old Testament, is there's plenty of Bible verses where he commands that you kill the infants, and you also have Exodus where the firstborns were killed, and a lot of them were infants too. Like, that's the problem, and that I can't get over.
Huh. And what if I told you that this cottage?
Right, but it's the whole sins of the father argument, right? Like there were generational curses in the Old Testament, and I never felt like it was right. So my morals weren't aligning with the God I was supposed to be serving. Does that make sense?
Natural. I suspect that someone is not.
Right, and that's one of the things I couldn't get over.
Let's investigate that in our next session, shall we?
Right, but I mean, you understand where I'm coming from. I don't like the idea of children being slaughtered. Like, doesn't that? Would you agree that at least when you hear those things, and that you go, ugh, why did it have to be that way? You know what I mean? Now, you could argue you could say, like you said, you'll come to the conclusion that either, yes, morally this doesn't feel right, but if God says it, it must make it moral, or you have to come to the conclusion, this is morally wrong, so I cannot serve this God. So that's the lane you're going to have to choose, is between those two things. Like, morally, you may go, man, this isn't right, but if God said it, it must be right. Yeah, and I couldn't. Logically and emotionally, I could not. Yeah, and that's my issue, is I wasn't able to. And that's just one of many concerns. But that's like the first chief concern that I brought up. Was people that I felt like were totally innocent being caught up in stuff that their parents did. I just couldn't jive with it. I mean, the New Testament one was made, though. That's more of a hippie style Jesus, the love thy neighbor, it corrected some of that stuff. But the way I view the God of the Old Testament. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, but see, that's my issue, though, is I do feel like a lot of Christians, they throw out the Old Testament so quickly, but the New Testament says over and over again that he came to fulfill the law, not change the law. There's so many verses about God never changes, and even if he did change, it still was a thing that happened. And there still were verses about stuff that said God loved the smell of blood. You know what I mean? I'll find the verse for you.
The girls themselves couldn't have made it that far.
Something about that mountain seems to breed tragic events.
More than you know, Marty.
Well, thank you for joining us, Andy. With all the Washingtons tonight.
No, man. See, this is what, dude, I know the Bible in and out. That's, like I said, I had to train and learn, and I was a Sunday school teacher. This is the stuff you're gonna find out when you really get in there. I would say for sure, man, read your Bible constantly. Let's see, Bible verse that says God loves the smell of blood.
So, let me just let you know, let's take a moment to
address the elephant in the room for a second. I know you're all probably worried about me, and I know it's going to be tough on all of us going back.
Okay, Leviticus 17:6 says the priest is to splash the blood against the altar of the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting and burn the fat as the aroma is pleasing to the Lord. Leviticus 3:16 the priest shall burn them on the altar as a food offering, a pleasing aroma. All the fat is the Lord's.
I really want to spend some quality time with each and every one of you. And
well, yeah, because the whole idea of Jesus was with that sacrifice, you no longer needed a lamb sacrifice.
And, you know, okay, so let's party like we're fucking porn stars, okay? Make this
right, but the whole sacrifice thing. See the whole reason. The whole story of the Bible is about people who committed sins and to atone for those sins that needed to be sacrificed. And so the Old Testament, you'd have to do so many of these sacrifices, but then when Jesus came, that was the ultimate sacrifice, and there would be no more sacrifices needed afterwards. Well, and then I told you, of course, my other hang-up with the whole original sin to begin with is God could have put the tree in a place where Adam couldn't reach. But I'll give you an example, though. If I put out a test for my dog, and I say, I'm going to lay a treat in front of you. Do not sin, do not eat this treat. And I put it in a place where the dog could get to it, my fucking dog's going to eat that treat. You know what I mean? Right, and that's why, and see, this is another scientific argument. That is the reason why periods are blamed for happening and why women give childbirth is because they caused the fall of Adam by convincing him to eat the fruit. But scientifically, we understand that's not why periods happen. Periods happen because that's just biological. Right, well, I know we'll disagree on the science part. Like, for example, I think evolution, there's lots of evidence for evolution. And I don't think Noah's Ark could have possibly happened. Well, we said billions of years ago, but actual Christians believe the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Because you could track the genealogy, and the Earth's about 6,000 something years old, according to the Bible, and that's what most young Earth creationists believe. You do have a lot to learn still about what your faith actually teaches, and it'll be interesting to see how you feel after you learn everything. Like I said, I was revolted by some of the stuff I heard. I was turned off by it. I ran from it because I couldn't agree. Yeah, and that's what I was. That's what I was too. I mean, I could point to anything, but the thing is, I think that in general, anytime I brought up something from the Old Testament, you've thrown that out immediately because, and a lot of Christians do this too, because it is just easier to just push away the Old Testament altogether and be like, none of that matters because of the New Testament. I'm going to give you New Testament verses to talk about. Okay, so let me see here. All right. Okay, you can send that to me. Um, well, no. Okay, so I'm pulling up some verses here. Here is Luke 14. I'm going to do all New Testament real quick. So here's Luke 14:26. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. I don't agree with that. It's okay. Look it up yourself then, if you don't believe me. Luke 14:26. Okay. I just looked it up online. It should be something along those lines for you. Same thing. You could try to read the context if you want, but that verse clearly does state, anyone comes to me that does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. So I don't know what context you need around that. Yeah, I mean, even if that's true, I never really jive with that verse either because I can't hate my family that way. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, contradictions. There's a ton of contradictions in the Bible. I mean, that's another reason I had. That's another reason I couldn't follow it either. Is because there's so many contradictions that you have to do this mental gymnastics to either get it to work out, or you have to pick a lane and ignore the other verse, and that's called cherry picking. And a lot of people do this cherry picking. But then you have, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, and then First Peter um, 2, or chapter 2, verse 18 to 20, the New Living Translation. You are all slaves. You, well, it says, you who are slaves must accept the authority of your masters with all respect. Do what they tell you, not only if they are kind and reasonable, but even if they are cruel. For God is pleased with you when you do what you know is right and patiently endure unfair treatment. Of course, you get no credit for being patient if you are beaten for doing wrong, but if you suffer for doing good and endure it patiently, God is pleased with you. That's slavery. First Peter chapter 2, verse 18 to 20. And oh, you said something about Romans. There is a verse about Romans that I remember. Let me look it up real quick. Well, if you say that to when you go to Bible college or pastor college, if you say that, they'll correct you. They'll correct you in class. They'll say every word of the Bible was divinely inspired. Yeah, but they'll tell you that the entire Bible is inspired and is the perfect word of God. They will tell you that there. I'm letting you know. You can't say that there or they'll look at you funny. So, all right. So here's an example in Romans. Um, do you like the government? You would say our government's super corrupt, right? And needs to be like turned over to God, right? Okay, well, Romans 13:1 says, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted. And those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's." Yeah. Okay. But yeah, basically, I'm not going to keep going over these verses. I don't want to beat a dead horse or nothing. But like that Romans 13 verse is basically telling you that even though we know for a fact our government is completely, you know, corrupted and perverted and evil, right? I agree with that, even as an atheist, right? It's telling you in chapter 13 that you must submit to it anyway.
Chris, you here?
Well, yeah, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. If God has controlled this corrupt, evil government, I mean, I can't jive with that either. You know what I mean?
Oh man, look at this.
Yeah. I mean, I actually agree with that. If everybody did have the same religion, you wouldn't have religious wars. That's true, but it's also hard to get people to agree. Which again brings me to, hey, if God really wanted to, he could just reveal himself to everybody. You still have the free will to choose, but I mean, he could easily, at any point, just reveal himself to everybody in the world. Maybe, but at that point, that'd be their own fault, wouldn't it? I wasn't alive 2,000 years ago to see Jesus, right? So I've never had the opportunity to see Jesus. See, I don't agree with that. I would. So what's his reasons for like not wanting to the same as mine, or is it different? Well, a lot of Christians think that people that don't believe just want to do it so they can sin. Well, I could tell you, I don't feel that way because you could say some things I do are a sin, right? Like premarital sex, getting drunk, whatever, right? But I feel like as though I feel like I'm a good person, right? I feel like I have a lot of yeah, but see, some of the stuff I do, I don't consider mistakes. Like for example, like I said, I mean, not to belabor the point, but I really don't think there's anything wrong with uh, premarital sex at age 30 something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anything actually wrong with it. Well, and you know what's crazy is I actually think marriage should be only a religious ceremony. My problem with marriage is the government that got involved. Well, I have spoken to women before about, oh, would you want to get married, but only do a religious ceremony for it and not make it government official? And they laugh at me about that. They go, no, it's got to be government official too. But I'll say this, you know, and you also got to think, I don't know why, and it was actually a Christian woman I was talking to, right? There was a Christian woman that I was talking to. This was months ago. Well, I'll put it this way. This is what bothers me. She was a woman that was in her late 30s, right? And she goes, "Well, I'm not having sex again until I'm married." And that's when I told her, I go, "Well, I'm open to us getting to know each other, and then maybe we could do a religious marriage, a ceremony to be married, but without the government involved." Because I explained to her that okay, we could do that. We could, you know what I mean? If we get to know each other and stuff, and we decide we want to be together like that, and then I explained to her my stance on why the government shouldn't be involved in marriage at all, and that it should just be a religious ceremony. And she said she wanted the government marriage too. And that's the other thing. She wanted to be a virgin until she was married, even though she had a ton of sex in her 20s. Right. So to me, the way I look at it is, in an ideal world, a man and a woman would meet between when they're 18 and 21, be virgins, get married, and only sleep with each other until they die. Right? That's the ideal world that I would want society to be like. But I think band-aids ripped off on that. And well, when I married my first wife, she was a virgin. I wasn't. I had already had some girlfriends or whatever before. But I got married when I was 20, and she was 19, right? And she was a virgin when we met. We got married. We were together like 4 years, 4.5 years. Okay. She cheated and left. And then it's like, okay, well, the band-aid's ripped off. I already, you know, had done stuff. And so it's like, and then as you get older, obviously dating involves that automatically. But see, that's where you're wrong because I was when I, yeah, no, I was loving her pretty good. It's just the problem is with social media, even back then in like the early 2010s, social media, the phone, you know, women talking to guys when they shouldn't. You know, I'm actually very conservative when it comes to when you're in a relationship with someone to not be talking to other dudes. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, no, I'm saying her. I'm saying the woman. But no, I mean the whole idea of, I mean, like talking to him more than a friend. You know, it's like, and the thing is, like, I don't think it is good for women to be friends with men while they're in a relationship with a man, and then they have these things called male orbiters. So like it's men that are friends. They hang around and they're wanting to, you know, get in her pants, and they're just waiting for the right opportunity. She has a vulnerable moment. She's basically will, you know, complain about you, the boyfriend, to the male friend, and then he's right there, you know, to take advantage. Does that make sense? But I'm saying these women change. So my one of my favorite sayings for 2025 was, uh, "She's not yours. It's just your turn." Women always have this approach of grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah, and there's like there's this whole mentality of the strong, independent woman, you know. But there's so many Bible verses that I agree with that isn't being followed even by Christians, where the man is the head of the household, where the man makes the decisions in the family, like all that stuff. There's a lot of things I can agree with that's in the Bible, right? But he is a Christian, right? Well, that's not that. Okay, well, first of all, I think definitely based on some of the verses I told you, you definitely know this is true. If you're going to be a Christian, God's got to be first, even over your family. I don't agree with hating your family. I think if the verse had read more like you have to put God above everything, including your family, that I would understand that because it's what kind of what the theme is throughout the Bible. I don't think it's misinterpretation. I think the language was too strong because I don't think you should have to hate your family. Well, if you believe the Bible was mistranslated, then that which I believe is true too. I think it's hard to follow something right that was mistranslated. Yeah, he might be able to explain some of these issues better than like I can even or anybody else can. Um, I feel like I've been going in circles here. I'm going in circles on the game. I'm talking.
Not in the bag, are you? Hello. What do we have here?
I don't think it's a struggle of lust. I think the thing that people should remember is we were designed, either designed as humans by God or evolved into this way, whichever you believe. But like we have a there's a desire and a need, like basically to propel your seed into the future. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's a you know, it's an animal instinct, and of course we are human, and so we have more control over our instincts, right?
found something kind of amazing.
What?
I'm not going to tell you. You got to see for yourself. Come on. It's this way.
Yeah.
Where?
Right around here. Gonna blow your mind.
Well, and then and also speaking about, since we are talking about Old Testament, there was plenty of like things that didn't make sense as far as like, oh, Adam lived like 900 something years.
Ta-da! Pretty rad, right?
The stated reason I've heard is because sin was not so prevalent in the world that people live longer.
Why is this even here?
What do you mean?
What the hell is a shooting range doing at the base of a ski lodge?
Dude, have you ever...
Yeah, the ages were getting progressively shorter and shorter, and then the only reason we've ticked up is because of modern medicine. But I don't believe biologically humans could last 800, 900 years, so I just don't believe that's true. There's plenty of things in the Bible I just don't think are true scientifically. Like, I make more of the emotional case, more of the moral case. Your stepdad might make more of the scientific case. I think the scientific case is boring to talk to you about because you'll just flatly disagree with it anyway. But I think the emotional case, the moral case, you understand where I come from at least.
Wow, nice shooting, Tex.
All right, I'm bad. I'm a badass.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess it was a wild case of beginner's luck.
Nah, I don't think so, girl.
Well, anybody and their brother could shoot a bottle that big.
Well, naturally, there had to be incest. If the whole idea of, if Adam and Eve are the first humans and they have kids, who do their kids have kids with? But see, you're going outside of the Bible to answer a question that I think is pretty clear that their kids had kids with their kids.
Come on, squirrels are just rats with bushy tails.
I cannot believe you just said that.
Yeah. Right, but we know for a fact that if incest is done now, that it creates humans that are, mentally retarded or they have problems. And I'm wondering, maybe Adam was like super, super smart, right? And used 100% of his brain, and maybe we're all just mental because we're all from the same bloodline, right?
Man, it's definitely weird coming back up here after a whole year.
Yeah, I swear. Hey, that's weird. Door's locked.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, well, here's what's interesting about that, too. We're not just all descendants of Adam. We would all be descendants of Noah. Because after the flood, there was only 8 humans that remained alive. So we went from 8 humans to 8 billion humans in 4,000 years. I don't even think that's possible mathematically.
Oh, real gentleman.
I just find it, I think scientifically, and the whole idea of every ant, this really got me with Noah's Ark, this is another big one for me, scientifically wise. 2 of every kind of animal on a boat. There is no freaking way that would work, man. It just, to me, there's just no way. I mean, I really had to twist myself into thinking, hey, this is possible, or, this could have happened. There's absolutely no way, in my opinion. I could be wrong, obviously.
Sleeping giant.
You gonna publish?
What?
Your pretty poem. The Sleeping Giant of Blackwood Forest.
Oh, shut up.
You know what I want I want someone to do this. Tell me if you think this is interesting. What if somebody did the Noah's Ark challenge nowadays? They built the Ark, the same dimensions that God listed out, and they tried to put 2 of every animal on the Ark. I want to see how that would look like. And I wonder why no one's tried it. But,
Finally,
But do you think somebody should try that just so we could see a recreation of what that would look like? But I just don't think that no one's even trying that because it's not possible. It's not big enough. About hippos, elephants, tigers, lions, bears, all like sitting next to each other, not attacking each other, dogs, cats, freaking.
Getting everyone together.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying on the size. I'm saying with the sizes, man. It's like, and then there's like 500 something different species of spiders. There's like, different species.
No, it was a good idea.
I hope everyone else feels the same way.
Well, you had to have the same species 4,000 years ago, or else these species would have went extinct. And more species just didn't pop up, and that's not in the Bible that more species popped up after the ark.
You're right.
You know how Josh and I met?
No.
Third grade.
But creation was completed in full in 6 days,
We didn't even know each other existed.
according to the Bible.
Sitting next to Josh, started strap snapping the training bra on the girl.
So, like I said, just dimensionally, there isn't enough space for these animals, and then you have to think about the problem of they all have to eat, they all needed food. They were, for 40 days and 40 nights, they would need food. There's a problem of where did the waste get dropped off at, because all the animals are going to shit and piss.
Hit puberty like 3 years early, and on that day decided
So there's a lot of like logistical problems here. Now you could say, hey, God put them under a spell, or God like calmed the animals himself so they could be transported, put them under a sleep. I don't know, but that's just total inference and just trying to make it work. But just dimensionally, there's not enough space in the ark for all those types of animals.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. New people. Time to meet and greet. What the hell?
Jess, hey.
Jessica, over here. Are you guys having a really weird stroke?
We're stuck in this stupid thing.
Can you please let us out?
There's also, I think this is interesting too, but all the villains in the Bible, like your Satan, Judas, Abel, all those people served a purpose in God's story. So are those people meant to be hated? Or are they meant to be like, hey, they're actually doing the will of God because God wouldn't have the, this was God's plan. You see what I'm saying? So which one is that?
personal playground.
Do not be a jerk.
My goodness. Seems that someone has a little crush on our good friend and dear class president Michael Monroe.
Chris.
And what kind of sizzling erotica might our Jessica be
But
capable of imagining?
would you agree though, God has the power to snap his fingers and eliminate Satan from existence immediately if he wanted?
Mike and Em split. We're together.
Whoa, drama.
Not really. Pretty clear cut, actually. Em's out, I'm in.
Huh.
See, and the way that I see it is, you could say, well, God's not all powerful. We can't just wipe Satan off the map anytime he wants. Well, obviously he can if he's all powerful. So, in my opinion, this is one of these WWE situations where Satan's playing the heel and Jesus is the good guy, and they're all backstage, and God's creating the story and letting it play out. You pretty much said that yourself.
Right where the cable car ends.
I don't think it would have been like as pretty,
Is that what it says? Because I thought in Revelation it said God slayed Satan through the sword of truth from the speaking of the tongue, and then he has he's caged for 1,000 years, then he breaks free, and then he's sent to the eternal fire, cast down by God.
Almost there.
No, I mean, getting kind of creeped out.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be weird seeing everyone up here again.
Are you sure?
Definitely not gonna feel like a regular party. I mean, what do you think?
Jesus!
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's the verse.
You really should have seen your faces right there.
Dude, I almost clocked you just now.
Nice one.
Michael, you're a jerk.
Come on. Guys, we're all friends here, right? No need for violence, just a little harmless fun. We're up in the woods, it's spooky.
Yeah, the argument about Revelation is interesting. Are you pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, or post-tribulation on the rapture?
Lighten the mood, Em. Don't be like that.
Like what?
The way you're being, you always...
Tribulation hasn't started. So, like, tribulation is that 7-year period, right? Some Christians believe in pre-trib, which is everybody's raptured out that's a Christian before the 7 years of tribulation. There's people that believe it's mid-trib, where when Satan stands in, the Antichrist stands in the Jewish temple and declares himself to be God halfway through the 7 years, that's when Christians are raptured up. And then there are some that believe in post-trib, where the Christians have to go through the tribulation too. And at the end of the tribulation, then they're caught up in the era, and then Armageddon happens. Yeah. So are you pre-trib, mid-trib, or post-trib, or do you not know?
I need to go find Sam.
Post-trib.
Okay.
Sorry, I really need to go find her. I totally forgot I needed to talk to her before we get all the way up there.
This really can't wait. We're almost...
Yeah, but there's an equal amount of
Matt, please.
people that believe that, basically.
I really
let's see.
Back down the trail by yourself.
Seriously?
It's cold out and it's getting dark.
You're gonna protect me from it being dark out?
I'll just leave your stuff here and come with you. Nobody's gonna steal it.
Matt, are you kidding me? You can't leave me alone.
Yeah, I think it's the most relevant book about the future, right?
Why can't you just listen to me? Why do you have to question everything I say?
I'm sorry, Em. I'm just trying to be helpful.
If you want to be helpful, then you can help get everything up to the lodge as quickly as you can, okay?
Even Pentecostals don't agree, by the way.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you. I'll see you up there after I go find Sam.
See you in a bit.
But like Pentecostals, it says right here, Pentecostal views on the timing of the rapture are diverse, ranging from traditional pre-trib to post-tribalism, rather than holding a single uniform position. That, to me, would be a red flag alert that even, like, your own denomination doesn't have a stance on if it's pre-trib or post-trib. Or, I mean, they have said that since... So the whole thing that needed to happen was Israel needed to become a state. Or, like, it needed to become a nation or whatever. And that happened in 1948. So since 1948, pastors have said we've lived in the end times. That was the first time it was possible.
Hey, whoa. Sorry there. Sorry about that, Ash. I didn't mean to scare you.
But I'm telling you now, I grew up in the 90s, and I used to, you know, my grandma would take me to church, right?
It's okay, it's fine.
And it was the old school kind of church that I think people need these days if they're going to go to church. Where, like, the pastor's red in the face, he's yelling, he's telling you about hellfire and brimstone. You know, that kind of sermon.
Go ahead, knock yourself out. Yes.
And, oh, well, so that's how your pastor is? He's the old school, he's red in the face, yelling about hellfire and brimstone?
Is it ever just nothing
And he's talking about it, and he says the end time is near, and it was like 1997. Oh man. Oh, I will tell you something bad about atheists, though, because this is why I can't agree with atheists on a lot of things. A lot of them are fucking assholes. Like a lot of them, like for example, I could have a nice, cool conversation with you about this stuff, right? But there's a lot of atheists like Matt Dillahunty and like prominent atheists that just flatly make fun of Christians. They actually are atheists because they want to go sin, and they're just jerks. You know what I mean? Yeah, but war has been a thing. War rumors that verse never really convinced me, because war and rumor of war has been a thing for all of human history. All of recorded human history, there's been war and rumor of war. All throughout human history. That's like me saying saying, hey, I think if you see the birds in the sky, it's signs of end times. Always going to be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really sway me to think, oh, well, it's the end times. Who knows? I think there's a lot of Christians who want to claim, hey, it's the end time, because they want to live in the end time. You know what I mean? They don't want to actually have to die or wait or whatever. And, okay.
Is done city.
So did I go down?
I don't think so.
I think you'd know so if I did.
All right.
My. So are we calling it my favor then?
You're a worthy opponent, Miss Jessica, the Snowball Queen.
Okay, that sounds vaguely dirty.
My lady.
Save some for later, buddy.
Endless reserves.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, sounds like...
Whoa! Oh my god!
That was really close.
That thing was gonna kill us.
Yeah, I mean, wow. If you hadn't pulled us out of the way. Toast.
I think it's also possible that, hey, I think that, hey, if let's say God chooses the last day, right? He's the only one that knows. There's a plenty of verses that says he's the only one that knows. No one could know the date but God, right? And who knows? Could be 200 years from now. Could be another 1,000 years from now. It just feels like the end time for people.
I believe that in our last session, you were not comfortable.
Yeah, you don't, but you don't do predictions, because predictions, like you said, only God knows, right? Only God would know the actual date.
This time, we're going to try.
But yeah, but again, we saw those same signs 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. And we'll...
A set of pictures and symbols. I want you to identify which image in each set makes you the most anxious.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of people I know that were religious or whatever, they're Christian, and they're like, Obama's the Antichrist, or they're like, well, December 21st, 2012 is the end of time. Yeah, but that could be for a completely non-religious reason. Now, there is the whole idea, Mark of the Beast, the microchip. You could see that happening. Well, I've always been against this microchipping. So, like, even I am aware of the verses of Revelation. I keep aware of it. And if they ever go, hey guys, we're going to need you to, like, we're not doing money anymore. We're going to do this microchip thing so you could buy or sell. I'll know right then and there, Eli. I'm dropping on my knees and praying praying for God, because I know for a fact, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is really happening. It's going down. You know what I mean?
So sorry. You're doing very well. Don't be nervous.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like if they start microchipping people and giving them 666 marks of the beast, I'm like, oh, okay, so I was wrong. Whoops, my bad. Hey, God, I'd like to talk to you. There's two kinds of Satanism. There's there's the actual Satanists, the actual cultists, the actual, oh shit, they're doing evil shit, right? They're the ones that they're really bad. Like, they're really bad. But there is a separate kind of Satanist where it's more of a play on words, and they're more like they're more peaceful and they don't do anything. You know what I mean? Well, no, it's like, have you ever heard of Pastafarians?
This is very interesting.
Basically, it's a meme joke about following the flying spaghetti monster. And certain people do identify as Satanists, but they don't do any practicing Satan worship at all. It's more of a play on words. Those aren't real Satanists anyway. But as far as real Satanists go, they're the ones that I watched this podcast. You'll like this podcast, the Almost False podcast. Have you heard about them? Look them up real quick. Almost False. They put out a lot of good, like, stories of people who did evil things and then they converted to Christianity. On YouTube. Do you want me to send it to you, or do you think you can find it? Almost False. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of this guy does a whole bunch of interviews, and I'm telling you, like, even though I'm an atheist, I watch this stuff and find it very fascinating. But like, huh? Oh.
Come on, you grew up here. It probably feels like it's shrinking.
I guess that's true.
When are you gonna install some cell towers up here? I'm getting withdrawals already.
You got a spare million lying around, and I'll fix you right up.
Funny you should say that. I think I left it in my other jacket.
Oops. Hey, guys. Get up here okay?
Yeah. Well, more or less, but it's so good to see you.
What's up with him?
Yo. We get things moving up here or what?
Yeah, man.
So Matt and Emily are a thing now, right?
Yeah, so it seems.
I mean, what's Mike think of that?
I have a feeling Mike's already got his hands full, you know what I mean?
Huh.
Damn it. This freaking thing.
Is it iced?
What else?
Maybe there's another way in.
There are a million ways in, they're just all locked.
There's gotta be like a window around the corner we can get open or something.
Wait a second. Are you saying we should break in?
I don't think it's technically breaking in if you own the place, right?
Hey, not if I don't report you. Lead the way, Coachies.
Hey, Ash.
Hi, Chris.
There might be some islands that certain people haven't gotten to.
How are you doing?
Good, but a little cold. Think I could use some time curled up by the fire.
Yeah, that does sound pretty nice.
Ashley was looking pretty hot today, right? She's like a sleeper hit kind of gal, you know? Now I just want to rip that Parker right off of her and make some snow angels, right?
Hey, cut it out, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna bang her, maybe Michael take up the case.
Wait, will you back off?
Relax. Just checking to see if there's some blood flowing down there.
Yeah.
Listen, dude, look around you. Look at these beautiful mountains. Do you see
Um,
your parents? I mean, can you imagine a more perfect...
I had a question for you.
Just dripping with possibility.
Do you...
And Ashley,
Okay.
alone at last.
If someone is gay, how can they be gay and Christian?
Now, you come in for the kill.
Okay, because I know there's been a huge riot. I noticed this with people. Big time. I know plenty of people like this. They're gay, but also Christian.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I don't... It's kind of... doesn't make sense to me, right? I don't get it why they... Yeah.
So, how are we planning on breaking
So-
up my parents' lodge, bud?
I didn't say I had a plan.
You sounded like you had a plan. You better deliver, Cochise.
Yeah, I was curious what you thought about that, because there's plenty of people your age that go, oh, it's no big deal.
Not a good way to get laid.
Oh, shoot. Nobody likes cool buns.
And I think that's at least an honest answer about it, because I kind of agree with you that it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, we got ourselves a thinker. Nice one.
See, I have a different stance on it. I think that I got no problem with gay people at all. If I got gay people in my comment section or in my chat, I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I don't even really care. I don't really care what they're doing. Like, this is my other issue I've had with God is I don't know why he's so fascinated with sex. But he is. I mean, and you are at least trying to follow the rules, right? But I personally, I always try to. I know it's hard to do, but basically, I'm trying to put myself in God's shoes as far as like, what do I think about this? And if I was in charge, I would look at it like, I don't really care if you're sticking your dinghy in a hole. It's none of my business. Or no, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, to me, it doesn't affect anybody.
Yep, ones we melted. Just point the spray can in the lighter and whoosh. Bye-bye frozen.
Well, yeah, and that's where I have a lot of my problems with it is because I do this, I always do this thing about putting myself in other people's shoes. Like, you know, that's why I'm against us attacking other countries and foreign wars, right? Because I can put myself in other people's shoes. But I take it probably too far when I try to put myself in God's shoes, compare what my decision-making would be to God's decision-making, and then think that I could do it better. I completely understand what you're saying. I just feel like, for me, like I would do stuff like I would make sure kids don't die of cancer. You know what I mean? Like that. I'll start there. Well, that's it right there. Suffering. The whole point of the suffering. Why have suffering at all? You know what I mean? Like it's the whole problem of evil argument. I'm sure you've heard before, and I'm just thinking if I was in charge, I wouldn't be doing any sort of suffering for people. Well, yeah, again, if I was in charge and the devil was actually causing all the suffering, I would just wipe him out without all the show and dance. I mean, again, obviously, I know what I'm saying is extremely blasphemous. I get that. But I look at it from the perspective of, I feel like if I could conceive of how I could do things better, how could I then go follow a God that I think's not doing it as well as I would do it if I was in charge? Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things where, like I said, if I could conceive of how I could do it better, then I have a hard time following what I consider to be a worse way of looking at it, or worse way of doing things.
So, what have we here?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying is that's why I'm in the position I'm in, and that's why I don't have interest in changing that position right now, because I still feel that way. Right. And I know you're trying to help, and I know you think that that's what you're doing and whatnot. But the thing is, like I said, this is a conscious choice. This is not me like, oh, I don't feel like I need help. I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I've made my decision. But I always do like watching anything theological anyway, so obviously I check it out anyway. But well, I've explained the one thing that would change my mind. Well, there's one thing that makes me change my mind as far as does God. There's a difference between protesting God's existence and protesting what God wants. So obviously, I protest against both. One thing that would get me to convince He exists would be, like I said, a full-on like voice in my head or conversation or something that is otherworldly, like experience that. Well, it does happen for some people. But right. So, and that would solve the existence problem even without the scientific evidence being persuaded. I would take the anecdotal, oh, I had something happen to me. I wouldn't assume it's a mental breakdown. I would first assume it must be God. And then some people say it would just be a mental breakdown, and they would still wouldn't believe. Not me. I would say, oh, I'm sound of mind. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. Just like I was swayed about, oh, I didn't think ghosts existed. After my experience, now I do. And then as far as the, okay, well, now that I know God exists, how do I decide, how do I decide if I can follow God? Well, that would depend on the conversation that would take place. And if he would convince me, well, this is why things had to be the way they are. You know what I mean? So like I said, open to a conversation with God 100%. I just did. Sure. Absolutely, 100%. Well, I mean, you say busy, but there is no concept of busy with God because can he be in multiple places at once? Okay. So then at any point, this is what I've requested, not because I'm like saying, oh, God's got to do what I say, but I'm requesting it from the standpoint of I'm open to listening, but I don't need a pastor to tell me. I want the big chief himself or an angel or something to tell me. Yeah, that book sucks. Like that book, like what he went through sucked.
Huh. That's cool.
Okay. All right.
The hell was that?
Until Dawn's starting to get scary. They scare me. I'm getting scared, dude.
Hi, Chris. Very funny.
Oh, how'd you know it was me?
Did you, like, get
Right.
the lock open or something?
On it.
Well, movies I could handle. It's games get to me. I don't know. You know, I got my marathon going on. Remember, didn't I tell you about my beat the clock challenge? Yeah, that's true. I was already watching. It's kind of hard to do something in the background whenever you're trying to get immersed in the scary game. But yeah, I could. I was also listening to earlier. I was listening to Spawn Wave. But yeah, but I mean, today probably won't be today because well, I got those 4 streams going on. I'm doing the beat the clock challenge. Whichever game scares me the fastest to get me to quit wins. So like right now I'm doing Until Dawn, Resident Evil 8, Silent Hill 2, and A Quiet Place is coming up sometime later today. Well, right now we are an hour and 34 minutes into Until Dawn. I'm starting to get creeped out. But yeah, Resident Evil 8, Silent Hill 2, and A Quiet Place, and Until Dawn. It's the Beat the Clock Challenge Part 1. That's what Scooter said, too. Because I think I played another Silent Hill game on stream, and I didn't last very long before I got scared, too. I don't know, man. I mean, usually I'm a pretty tough guy, but some of these scary games, they know how to get to me, dude. I'll get creeped out, dude. Yeah, Silent Hill always has this creepy atmosphere. Dude, I'm getting nervous, man. I'm like sweating bullets right now until dawn. Yeah, but I'm also playing it in the middle of the night. Okay, maybe I'm a puss at this stuff. I'm not as strong-willed as you, Eli. Oh, shoot. So what are you gonna do? You stay on the line, or you going to bed, or you gonna watch my playthrough? What do you want to do? Okay. I'll go to bed when this playthrough is done, and then I'll pick it up in the morning with Silent Hill 2, probably. I'm not sure, man. Because, I mean, when are you going to be? Which stream do you want to see the most? Out of Silent Hill 2, A Quiet Place, and Resident Evil 8, what are you most to least interested in? So when are you going to be asleep? Because I'll play when I want to make sure that if I play the one that you don't want to see, like A Quiet Place, I'll do that while you're sleeping. So, like, when are you sleeping? And then, what time do you usually wake up? Okay, if that's the case, then the first stream tomorrow morning is going to be A Quiet Place, because I don't sleep that long, and who knows, I might be up at 6 or 7, and then I'll do that stream. And then later on, like, the third stream will be Silent Hill 2. Yeah, and then the last stream of the day tomorrow will be Resident Evil 8. So you'll be able to see the last two streams, and then, but A Quiet Place, you might still be asleep for it, depending when I wake up. Okay. Yeah, or I might still be live on A Quiet Place. I'll take breaks in between. Like, if I quit a game early, I'll take breaks in between, too, so it's not just like boom, 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 it's done. I love that movie. Yeah. Okay, what's this? Oh, I'm scared. Dude, I quit. I'm scared.